This is a very vegan holiday. So the kids went off to college. You're all excited. They're coming home for a big holiday meal and you get a phone call that says, "Mom, I have to tell you something. I'm a vegan." What are you going to do with all that turkey? All the rich, creamy potatoes that you make with butter and heavy cream. Cream of mushroom soup, that's got dairy in it. Just about everything on the traditional holiday table is going to not be vegan. But we're going to fix that, and we're going to show you how to do it so you are the hero of the holidays. We are going to be making 3 dishes when we come back. We're going to be making a vegan chocolate cake, which is also sugar-free. We are going to be making a cranberry en croute centerpiece, and one of my absolute favorites is we are going to be making a creamy vegan mushroom gravy. Thanks for joining us. This is a very vegan holiday. We're here at Whole Foods Co-op. We're at the Hillside location. We also have the Denfeld, as you know, and there is no better place for us to get all of the ingredients and things that we are going to need to create a very vegan holiday feast. Come on in. And here we have a turkey. We are going to jump right in and show you guys all of the options we have for vegan holiday feast. We're going to start right up here. Come on in. We have the corn meatless roast, the Gardein plant-based savory stuffed turkey, the tofurkey plant-based ham. I do have to try this one. Plant-based turkey roast. We're going to switch over to here where we have the, everyone's heard of tofurkey. They have a plant-based holiday feast, and this one is really neat because if you just want to call it a day, come pick this up. It comes with a roast, stuffing, gravy, and a brownie. So if you got someone coming over, it's perfect. We have the Celebrations by Field Roast, plant-based, and this one is I believe that is sage, garlic, and breaded stuffing. This is the one that we're going to be making, the Hazelnut Cranberry plant-based roast crafted with rosemary, ginger, wrapped in a flaky puff pastry, also known as a Cranberry en croute. And as you can see below, we have all of the gobble gobble turkeys. Come on over here. Let's say you're not looking for the traditional Thanksgiving, or let's say you're not looking for the traditional holiday meals. What you can do is stop over in this section. We have a lot of vegan burritos here. Step on over to the vegan burger section. We have chicken tenders, Nashville hot, different chicken fillets to make chicken sandwiches, roots, vegetarian gourmet meatballs, miniature corn dogs made by Field Roast, Beyond Meats. I mean, these are local. This is made by Superior Small Batch. We have a couple of different varieties, including plant-based sausages. So there are a lot of things to choose from, and we're going to make sure that you have everything you need for an awesome, very vegan holiday. We are now lucky enough to be able to chat with my friend Rihanna of the deli here at Whole Foods Co-op. How you doing today, Rihanna?
A great sandwich featured this month, the beginning of the month, November. It runs through November 15th. We are featuring a Classic Club. The Classic Club has our local Ferndale Market oven roasted turkey, Black Forest ham, Beeler's bacon, as well as mayo, tomatoes, and then romaine lettuce on sourdough bread. A traditional classic, goes very well over here at the Whole Foods Co-op, both at the Hillside and the Denfeld location. And we also are featuring Dirty Moose Tracks, which is our new coffee feature running through November 15th, which is a combination of praline, real maple syrup, and then your choice of milk and espresso made into a latte, and just all the sweetness and caffeine you need to start off for your day.
That's a Dirty Moose?
That's a very Dirty Moose Tracks.
That sounds great.
Wonderful.
Can you You know a little bit about food, it sounds like.
Yes, just a little bit.
Would you be able to explain to us the difference between vegetarian and vegan?
Yes, definitely. So we cater to everyone here with dietary needs at the Whole Foods Co-op. And anytime you are coming in looking for stuff that is either vegetarian or vegan, we have a few ways that you can tell throughout our store how to designate if some product is vegan or vegetarian. So vegan, if you are following the vegan lifestyle, you are not going to be consuming any animal products whatsoever. When you're talking about vegetarian is just strictly, they stay away from just meats. We offer a whole bunch of options as far as vegetarian and vegan goes, and we can definitely show you around the store and take a look. Yeah. So we'll kind of start off with our cheese case here, and you'll find this throughout the entirety of the store. Our cheese case, we have everything sectioned off by either our vegetarian/vegan and then regular cow's milk cheese. So if you come over here, there's two ways. So we started, like I said, all out by what milk it's made of. So if you're looking for vegetarian or vegan cheeses, in the deli specifically, it's going to be our top row here, everything that's vegan or vegetarian. You'll also notice items that are vegan will have these cute little vegan green tags next to it that signify that the product is in fact vegan and is suitable for those with those dietary restrictions. Another good way to check if all the cheese that you're consuming is vegan or vegetarian is just to take a quick look at a label. So if you're looking at the Kite Hill cream cheese here, you're going to look at it and it's going to say alternative made with almond milk, dairy-free, plant-based alternatives. And then if you go down here into the ingredient section, you'll notice reading through the ingredient label, you will not find anything that contains animal or animal byproducts. So this would be suitable for all of our vegan friends that are on their vegan diet and restrictions.
All right, and how does that cook with? Like if let's say you're making a pizza and you're doing a homemade pizza and you want to put some cheese on top.
If you want to do a homemade pizza with cheese, we have great options, both vegan and vegetarian here at the store. A new product we just got in, it is wonderful and works like a charm, is this liquid vegan pizza mozzarella cheese. You're straight up just going to make your pizza as normal, and then you're going to just pour it on the top in a swirl, throw it in the oven. It bubbles up just like regular mozzarella. There are many co-op employees that swear by this Miyoko's vegan liquid pizza cheese. It is super, super awesome and very, very delicious. Another option, if you're kind of scared or nervous about that liquid pizza cheese, we have a whole bunch of vegan and vegetarian style shreds. So as you can see, we have Mexican style, so if you're going to be doing a Mexican party night, this is a go-to, very, very delicious. Melts just like your regular cow's milk cheese, but is in fact vegan. And if you're going the pizza route, the mozzarella shreds from Violife are the way to go. The same thing. Melts great, super, super awesome. You can't even tell the difference between the regular or the difference. Yep, and the vegan, it will say right on it as well. A lot of the companies do have the little circle with the V in the middle to signify that it is vegan too, so you'll notice that on products throughout our store as well. And then if you turn around here, we have our deli service case. When it comes to deli service case items, you can ask our deli counter clerks what is vegan for options for today, and we will gladly point out to you what is vegan in our deli service case. Today we have a whole bunch of options that are vegan here in our deli service case. Quinoa tabbouleh is vegan and vegetarian. Roasted Brussels sprouts and carrots, vegan and vegetarian. The Florentine patty is just vegetarian because it does contain cheddar cheese, which is made with cow's milk, which is an animal byproduct that vegans would have to steer clear of. Vietnamese noodle is vegan and vegetarian. Thai cucumber salad is vegan and vegetarian. And our most popular tofu salad, the red curry tofu, is also vegan and vegetarian. So as you see here, everything in the front row is always going to be vegan or vegetarian, and the back row is going to be meat products. But we do offer on a regular basis about 4 to 5 vegan options out of our deli service case alone. If at any time you have other dietary restrictions that go on beyond the vegetarian realm or vegan realm, you can just kindly ask a deli counter clerk what the ingredients are, and we can provide those with you.
Oh, that's awesome.
Wonderful.
That's a good thing to know. And can I ask, Is there a reason that you have the salads laid out in the case the way that you do?
Yes, we lay the salads out in the way that we do so we don't cross-contaminate. So our meat products are always going to be in the back, so that if we're scooping meat up for a customer, it's not going to fall into the red curry tofu and then contaminate our entire batch. So we are very strict with our cross-contamination, making sure that that doesn't happen when we're scooping out salads or assisting customers, so that everyone can feel safe in what they're consuming.
That's great. That's really respectful, and I appreciate that, because I personally can't do dairy. Can we take a look in the, what's the section called over here?
This is our deli grab-and-go section. In our deli grab-and-go section, it's the same thing, a whole bunch of vegan and vegetarian options. Here, your best bet is, if you're looking for vegan or vegetarian options, is to specifically grab whatever salad that you're looking for. So let's say, for instance, like, this pasta looks pretty interesting. We're gonna flip it over, and it says right in the label, vegan cheesy pasta. Some of our salads will straight up claim vegan right on the top of the label. Otherwise, if you are going to delve in to make sure that it is in fact vegan, you can look at the ingredient list and read it from right to left, and it will let you know exactly what is in this salad. So if you don't see anything as far as eggs go or meats go, anything like that, it is safe to consume. You can also look at the contain statement. It won't say if it has meat or not, but the regular label or the salad on top will say if it has chicken or tofu or whatever it's made in. And then it contains will also help you out too, because if it contains egg, you can just look at the contain statement and it will say egg. So if you are a vegan, you in fact want to steer clear of products with egg, because you may not be, you're not eating egg because you're not consuming anything with an animal byproduct.
So just a little extra research and you can find out for sure if it has any of the items you want or do not want in the salad.
Correct. And if you're uneasy about it, or you have further questions, or maybe this writing's too small for your eyes to see, because I know it is for mine, I'll just kindly ask a deli counter clerk or a kitchen staff. Anyone in a black chef coat can definitely help you out and answer any questions that you may have.
All right, let's talk about the elephant in the room, Rihanna.
What's that?
The holidays are coming up.
The holidays are coming up.
And I hear you guys are doing deli pre-orders.
We are. Currently, we're doing deli pre-orders for all of our holiday items we're going to offer for Thanksgiving, our Thanksgiving harvest meal. The harvest meal this year, we are currently taking pre-orders, and we'll be taking pre-orders through November 14th at 9 p.m. at store close. Orders will be placed online at our Whole Foods Co-op website. You direct yourself to the website, and once the website pops up, there'll be a giant banner in the top that says, "Order your harvest meal today," and click to order here. You're going to click there, and then it will bring you to a new page in which it will list everything that we have to offer for the holidays that we're making in the deli. This year, we're going to be offering Ferndale Market turkey breast, skin on, boneless by the pound. We'll be having cranberry chutney, which is a vegan option and vegetarian option that we have this year. We will have autumn wild rice. We will be having maple pecan yams. We'll be having turkey gravy, mushroom gravy, which is vegan and vegetarian. Excellent. So we do have a whole bunch of vegan and vegetarian options offered this year. And we also will have plated meals too, available this year, just like previous meals. We're offering a traditional turkey one, plated meal, and we're also offering a wheat-free vegan traditional meal too. That is totally wheat-free and made with no animal byproducts at all, so it is vegan as well if you're looking for a vegan plated meal and want something quick and easy and maybe have to, entertain guests or such.
So if I have one or two guests coming over that have informed me, hey, I'm vegan, you guys can help me out with that.
Oh, definitely. Yep, definitely at all. We can definitely do that. We just require that you go online and do your holiday pre-order via the internet. And if you're having any issues or accessibility with the internet, or you can't seem to, direct yourself to the right pages, just feel free to call the Hillside or Denfeld location and speak to a deli manager, and we will definitely help you out and direct you and guide you through the process to get you everything you need for your harvest meal.
Worst case scenario, I missed all of the pre-orders.
Fear not. Fear not. We're going to have all of our sides that we're offering on our pre-order on our website available on Tuesday before Thanksgiving, so that will be the 22nd. And everything will be out for sale, first come, first serve, in our grab and go, right down here at the bottom of our grab and go. We'll have everything that you need for that, including rustic in pies, always a fan favorite, We have their cream pies available just like last year, all 6 varieties.
Are those on pre-order as well?
Yes, this year, unlike previous years, we're only offering our top selling pies that we sell during Thanksgiving for the holiday. And those pies include French apple, apple pecan, caramel apple pecan, North Shore berry crumble, strawberry rhubarb, 5-layer chocolate, and raspberry cream, and pumpkin. Any pies outside of those 10 that I just listed will be available the week of Thanksgiving, beginning on Monday. That would be the 21st. And we will have every other variety available that the Rustic Inn offers. And that will be strictly first come, first serve. So get here early, shop what you need, and make sure you're ready and prepared for all your company that's coming in for the holiday.
One last question. What is your favorite holiday item that we make?
I love stuffing. I'm a sucker for stuffing. I love it. I could eat it every day. I could eat it by the spoonful. I know not everyone's a stuffing fan, but if I could have stuffing for the rest of my life every single day, I would be a happy camper.
I think we all would.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Rihanna.
Yes.
And hey, be sure you guys stop by and say hi to Rihanna and get yourself a Dirty Moose Tracks.
Yes.
Yes.
And a club to go with it.
And a club to go with it.
Great combo. Thank you, Andre.
Thank you. We are back and we're going to start with the sugar-free vegan chocolate cake. The reason we're starting with that is because we're going to need the food processor, and I'm sorry if you don't have a food processor, it's going to be very difficult to make. Nothing is impossible, and don't throw in the towel, but this is going to make it so much easier. Also, if you have a Vitamix or a very high-powered blender, maybe a Ninja could get the job done. So we are going to set the oven at 350. Beep, beep. Oven is set at 350. We're going to let that preheat. We are also going to need to cook a sweet potato. You'll see all of the measurements and amounts, what you're going to need in the description below. So we'll get that started. All right, while that's finishing up, I want to let you know, don't be afraid to use a recipe. I know everyone's like, oh, but my mom didn't ever have to use a recipe. She just threw a pinch in and a pinch there, and Grandma never had to use a recipe. The secret is they did. It was usually in a little drawer right by the counter, and they'd pull it out and check it to make sure they're doing it right. Baking especially is not something where you can just throw in a little pinch of some baking soda or sprinkle in some baking powder. Now, these are done, so we're gonna shut that off. How do I know I cheated? And I stuck a fork in it. It's done. So we're gonna real quick drain those. Now we're gonna set these aside because these are for the frosting. We will get back to that shortly. I'm gonna put gloves on. You don't have to wear gloves. If you're cooking for other people, it's usually recommended. We are cooking for other people with this. And we're gonna come over here to the dates. These are the crazy fresh dates. You get these in the produce section. And we have a good majority of them cut up for what we need right away. But just wanna show you, see if I can find one. Here's one. This one's got a hat on it. What I like to do is hold it like this, knife down so you're not gonna cut your fingers off, and just slowly push until you hit the pit and then pull. And it'll split open and you'll be able to grab the hat and the pit out of there, the seed, whatever you want to call it. So you're going to need to do that for about 2 cups worth, maybe a little bit more. Usually works out to just under 2 containers of the crazy fresh medjool dates. Bring it back up. We're going to move over to the food processor because it's time to start putting the cake together. We're going to need our medjooled dates, and this I believe is 3/4 of a cup, and you want to separate them. They got kind of smushed together when we put them into the measuring cup. And this is, make sure it's pushed down. We're going to put some in before we get it started. If it's at a full speed when these hit, it will clunk, clunk, clunk. It doesn't do your food processor any favors, and it really doesn't do your nerves any favors either. So get those put in, and we're gonna first start by making the date paste. Okay, dates are in. We're going to want to add not all of the 3/4 cup of water. We are going to add some of it so it has a little bit to keep it moving. Put this on. Use the pulse setting. Make sure it's locked all the way so you don't get hosed. Still getting hosed. Hold on 1 second. This has never happened to me before. Well, it looks like my food processor has sprung a leak. We're going to get through the day. So after you get a pulse, when you think you're done, you're not. Give it a little bit of a break, and we're going to come in with a nice rubber spatula, scrape down the sides. There we go. This smells amazing. It smells like it's got a caramely scent to it. Give it a few more pulses. We want this to be, paste, real pasty. Time to add in the rest of that water. Try not to get another shower here. Get a real close up on that. And while you're zoomed in, I'm going to scrape this down so you can kind of get an idea of what you're looking for. As it drops off and falls on the counter, it almost looks like something you would put on a coffee cake. That is done, so we're going to give this a quick wipe on everything because it leaked a little bit. You know, that type of stuff happens and it can't be the end of the world. The holidays are supposed to be a fun time where you make happy memories, not bad ones. So, look at that, problem solved. We'll set that aside and we'll do a little bit of laundry later. Now, we are going to set all of this aside because we're going to jump on our dry ingredients. We are going to need flour. It doesn't necessarily have to be sifted, but try to go through and make sure. We got this at the bulk section. I love shopping the bulk section. And you can get as much or as little as you need. But what I do find is when you scoop it and you push it into the bag and you squeeze all the air out of the bag and then put your your twist tie on there, it can tend to leave some big chunks in there when you're going to make whatever you are making. So I like to knock it through a sifter, one of these, just to make sure there's no big lumps in there and everything is going to go real smooth. We're going to add, like I said, our dry ingredients. Flour. You can sift this through if you'd like. And then we're going to go with the baking soda, baking powder, salt, and then the cocoa powder. Cocoa powder is the same thing, and as you can see, there are some little clumps in there. Is that going to be a huge deal? No, but anyone who's tried cocoa powder without a sweetener and you get that dry taste, it's not the most pleasant. So having a lump of that, it's like getting a lump of coal in your stocking. So we'll knock that through quick, and then we're going to make some noise. See, here you can see, they're like little rocks. They'll break up pretty easily, but those would stick together in there, and then you'd bite into it and you'd have this real bitter spot. I'm sure there's people out there that are bakers that are swearing at me right now. Okay. There we are. Now what we're going to do, take a look at that. It's got a nice look to it. It has all the dry ingredients. We are going to combine all of the wet ingredients. So we're going to set this aside, and I'm going to grab another bowl from the bowl stash. So one nice thing with cooking at the kitchen here is there's a bowl stash and a spoon stash and everything you need. So we're going to jump to the wet ingredients. We are going to start with the applesauce. Put that in. All right, we are then going to move on to the plant-based milk. Like I said, we are using oat, the Califia Farms. That goes in. We're going to be putting in the vanilla. We want the 2 teaspoons of vanilla. Dump that in. And then just get this mixed up nice. If you want to get a shot of that, there you go. And that's the vinegar. Apple cider vinegar. Definitely smells different than vanilla. Give that a nice mix right there. All right. Give that a nice mix right there. Set that down. Now, what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to get our dirties out of the way. The bad part about using all of those bowls and spoons and everything is you're the person that has to clean them usually. Thank goodness we have a dishwasher. Dishwasher's name is Andre. So here is the dry ingredients. We are going to mix this all together. Could you have done this in one bowl? Yes. Would it have been easier to do? No, not at all. Okay, there's that. Set that aside. This can be real messy. So get that put in so you can set the top of your food processor in the sink. This blade that we're taking out right here is a razor. So please be very careful. If this isn't, kids don't use this, parents help them. I mean, no one wants to go to the emergency room on a holiday, or ever for that matter. Now grab our paste that we made. Slide that in. Scrape the bowl. You want that. This is the sweetness. We're not adding any honey. We're not adding any sugar. That is your sweetness. Okay. Look at that massive sink of dishes I gotta clean. We're gonna get this all mixed up. We might have to add a little bit of water because of the leak on the food processor. Not a big deal. We'll get this all mashed up and we'll see, maybe we don't. This isn't going to look like your atypical cake batter. It's going to have a little bit of a different texture. A little doughy almost. What do you think? See it? Got to continue mixing a little bit, but you think we need to add some water? I know, now I'm really sending mixed messages. He said it's a science. We're going to be okay. I think that looks nice. I'm going to get the cake pan and get that all prepped and ready, and we'll meet you back here. I got to find it. Be back. All right, got a cake pan. You can do like an 8-9 inch. You can do 2 4 inches if you want to do the stacked cake with some smooshy frosting in the middle. We're just going to go with this. It's what we have. I put a little bit of parchment paper in the bottom because I always have trouble getting them out. You don't grease the pan. See, because you'd want to put butter in there. You could use vegan butter, but please don't. Don't grease it. Okay. I suppose it helps if I turn so you can see and not just me. Yeah, very thick. Note the consistency though, so when you make this at home, you're not worried going, oh, it's too thick. It doesn't look like cake mix from a box. It's gonna look a little different. It's gonna smell amazing though. Just try to get it all leveled out in there. One of the nice things with cooking vegan is if you have anyone who wants to, you know, give this a lick, they can. There's no eggs in there. There's nothing that's going to hurt you. Just chocolate, dates. Okay, now your oven's preheated to 350. Let's get it in, and that is going to be in the oven for 25 to 30 minutes, depending on your oven, but we're going to check it at 25 and make sure that it's done. Okay, center rack on the oven. Cleanup time. Cleanup is done. The dishwasher is loaded, everything was rinsed and ready to go. Why are you turning my kitchen into a house of lies? We are going to be using the food processor again. I forgot, we got to make frosting. What is cake without frosting? This one's really interesting. I think you're going to like it. Remember that sweet potato we made? Well, it's time to peel it. Now, you should just be able to use your fingers and pull the peel off it. It might have some eyes that you got to get out of there. No biggie. We're shooting for about a cup. I let it cool down just a little too much. If you get them when they're really hot, it slides right off. I did not want to do that. I was struggling with the food processor. Pop those off, look at that. This works just fine. Get that out of there. Oh, it's weird, it's got a skin on it. Almost like we cooked it in the microwave, but not quite. Okay. Open that up. Smush it up a little bit. Ooh. Icicle on the outside, volcano in the middle. Just going to use this, try to speed things up a little bit. I try to save your time as much as I can, but then I want to make sure that I'm showing you that I'm actually doing it instead of just not. You know, going to the deli and grabbing some pre-made, all cut up sweet potatoes. Okay. And if you don't want to make desserts, we have so many options upstairs. Diet cheesecake, excellent. But it's not going to be as good as homemade, you know? Especially if you got one of the kids coming home, have them come and do this with you. It sounds fun, right? They can clean up while you're making everything. Okay. We are going to need the other vanilla. That's vanilla for sure. Dump that in. Salt. Milk product. This is also the oat milk. Almost the exact same as we did before, with a couple of slight differences. And the difference is, number one, there's no water in this. Number two, we are going to be adding peanut butter to it. And also, didn't even sift through this. Why? Because it's in the food processor and it's going to get whipped. Now, for the peanut butter, we need half of a cup. I use the bulk grind your own peanut butter, so I'm really hoping I have enough because I am not going to go up and get more. Or I'm sorry, almond butter. Oh, if I nailed a half a cup, that'd be great. What? Look out, grocery games. Do you win something on grocery games for doing that? You should. Okay. There we are. This I don't need anymore. This I do. Definitely want to pulse this because that chocolate is going to want to go everywhere. And it's going to turn into a big wad. It's going to be a big chocolate wad that rolls all around here. And then eventually it's going to smooth out and you're going to be like, it's ready. You can hear poor old Cuisinart having a hard time. Okay, let's take a peek and see where we're at. Oh, it looks great. A little dry. That's how it is, don't worry. I do not like super dry peanut butter. Some people do. I'm not going to name any names on brands or anything. Oof. Some of those peanut butters, they suck all the moisture out of your life as soon as you take a spoonful of it. I'm off peanut butter for at least 6 months now. I'll eat this, of course. And if it has a banana, like peanut butter banana, can't go wrong with that. Okay. Just a little longer. It smells excellent. I think we're going to give it one more. Move that in. I don't know if that camera's going to pick it up. Ooh, suction cups were working. It's a very fudgy frosting. So you could frost with it just like this, but we're not going to because we're going to add the dates into it now and wanted to back you guys up because of what happened last time. Not sure if the seal is going on my food processor, but let me get a glove on so I'm not touching the dates directly. And break those up a little bit. This thing is gonna jump. Locked. Loaded. Gonna pulse. It is whipping up nice, but I'm going to add just a little bit of this, more so to take the pressure off of the food processor. Don't overdo it. You got to start all over. They'll go everywhere. Okay, let's see how we're looking. Oh yeah, there we're talking. Now we're talking. Look at that. That's frosting. Gonna get a little bit more. Got a peek in. Good. We're going to leave this all put together just like this, so when the cake comes out, we get it cooled and plated. This can be spun a few times just to loosen everything up before we frost the cake. The alarm's gone off. The timer's gone off. Let's take a look. Slide this out. We have poked it a couple of times. Just looks good to me. This is hot, so be careful. we are going to revisit our cake. Like I said, we're gonna pulse this up just to loosen it and make it very nice, nice and easy to spread and frost. Okay, is that hot? Is that hot? No, we're good. Get that out of our way. Take our plate, flip it. Remember that parchment paper we put in? Sweet, huh? That is hot. Yowzer. Now, peel that off. Set that out of the way. Now I know what you're thinking. You're like, oh, that's not super pretty. Sure is good though. So now we come in, get our frosting. All this frosting is for this cake. You can grab a spoon and go sit and watch a movie if you want with the frosting. No one's gonna care, but just as you're looking at this, this is all meant for this cake. It's gonna get all over your fingers. If you do have gloves, I'd wear them. If you don't mind, don't worry about it. Now, what you can do is if you have fresh strawberries, you put fresh strawberries on top. You made it yourself. You made your own sugar-free vegan chocolate cake. Creamy vegan mushroom gravy. You're gonna use it for everything. You're gonna replace your cream of mushroom soup that you would use to make tater tot hot dish, green bean casserole. What's really good is if you're doing the vegan creamy mushroom gravy, let's say tomorrow morning you have leftovers, get some Beyond Meat sausage, chop that up and put it in. It's perfect for biscuits and gravy. All right, now what you're going to need is mushrooms, cleaned, ready to go. A buttery product like a melt, something without dairy in it, something vegan. You're going to need garlic, coconut milk, and you want the full fat stuff. Don't get the low fat. Fresh sage, onion, shallot, olive oil, salt, vegan vegetarian broth or vegetable broth, which is vegan. And then also I like to get these and have these on hand. It's bouillon cubes, because what I have noticed is sometimes this doesn't have quite the flavor punch that you want it to have. So if you get one of these, you can cut up little bits and drop it in, give it a nice full flavor to it. We're going to start out by getting this on. And one problem with working in someone else's kitchen, yeah, is that a big knob of butter? You dang right, that's a big knob of butter. We're going to get that going. We're probably going to use a little bit more. But I don't know where everything is in this kitchen, and when you think you found something, so we got the knob of butter that you saw there. We'll call that 3 tablespoons. We're going to turn this down to low until we're quite ready. A nice scoop of garlic. About a tablespoon and a quarter of garlic. We are now going to get the onion and shallot ready. Always try to work with sharp knives, but don't cut yourself. You're going to want to cut this up fine because it is going to be gravy. You do have options though. A little bit later, you're going to see you have the option of using like an immersion blender, leaving it chunky. You could always put it in if you have a food processor and or blender. This doesn't need the highest power of blender if you decide to go that direction. I like to leave a little bit more chunks in it because we are going to be adding some liquid. And it will, like I said, be creamy. Now, you can get all fancy with cutting your onions. You cannot get fancy with it. Doesn't matter. If your family You know, just like when we made the pizza, if whoever you're cooking for is complaining about how you sliced your onions, not worth your time. Bear claws. What do I mean by bear claws? They're pulled back. Knife's not going to catch the tip of my finger. Get your onions chopped up. This looks like a pretty decent consistency. We are now going to get them into the pan. These are great cutting boards. That ridge sometimes I'll get you with this stuff though. When it has liquid, it's really nice because it catches all of it. As you can hear that sizzling, we are going to turn it up a little bit, but I wanted to wait until I got all the onions cut up. We have half the onion in. We have this on a lower heat. Oh, that's the whole onion. We're moving on to the shallot. Try to keep it flat side down as much as you can. And then we're just going to give it a nice peel. Is the shallot required if you don't want to use it? No, it's not. You are definitely going to want to use at least an onion. Something to give it some of the traditional flavor that you're looking for. Okay. This cuts up just like the onion does. You want to try to keep these tiny if you can. Get the stem out of there. Okay. Now, we're going to crank this up just a little bit. We'll call that low to medium. Medium low, medium low. Almost lost my rubber glove. Okay. Got those in. We're going to let that sit on a medium. And you're going to hear some sizzling. We're now going to chop up the mushrooms while these get a little translucent and the flavors really blend together. All different size mushrooms. Try to get something a little bit uniform. You can leave a few bigger chunks if you would like to. We are looking at about a pound of mushrooms, give or take a little bit. There are many different ways or mushrooms you can use. I like to use the button whites or the crimini. If you want to get a little bit fancy, you could use a portobello. Did not mean to go paper thin on that. But get these all chopped up so they're pretty uniform. Okay, got the mushrooms all chopped up. They're just about ready. We are now going to take about 3 leaves of sage and we're going to roll it up as tight as we can. And we're just going to hit it with the knife. If you got a little stem, get it out of there. Stems and seeds are out. Roll over it a few times. Then take our olive oil and we're going to go for about 2 tablespoons. Set that aside. Bring our mushrooms that are all chopped up over. Sage goes in. Now we're just going to toss these a little bit. Notice how we're not using any salt. And I know everyone's, you gotta salt as you go, you gotta salt as you go. A lot of this vegan stuff that we're gonna be putting with this is pretty salty. Black pepper. Should have a grinder. If you can go with fresh cracked black pepper, it's great. You're gonna wanna do about, that looked like about 2 teaspoons. Now very gently with the salt. Light. And to show you what I mean, give me 1 second here. Okay, those are starting to get nice and crispy on the bottom. The onions, that is. Now here's a place where you have some options. We're not going to roll with those options, but here's where you could use a little bit of white wine to deglaze the bottom of the pan. We're going to use water, and we're not shooting for the whole 2 cups. What we are shooting for is to cover the mushrooms. Let's see how we did. A little poking and prodding it, we can get them all just sitting there. This smells like heaven. Okay, now what I was saying with the salt is, let's take a quick peek here. This is vegetable broth, right? No meat. The sodium is 500 milligrams per cup. Now you think how much you're going to be using in the recipes. When that evaporates off, you're left with probably a little bit more than a cup. The bouillon cubes, there are 16 servings per container. So 1 cube is 2 servings. And the sodium is 930 milligrams per serving. So 1 cube of this is 1,860 milligrams of sodium. Now you think about the things we're going to be putting together, because we're going to be maybe mixing this with this, depending on if the flavor is correct or not. And then you're going to add more salt on top of that. No, we're not going to do that. So you got to be real light with it. Keep an eye, taste as you go. And yeah, this is going to sit on medium. It might start to bubble up a little bit. What we're looking for is we're looking for those mushrooms to plump and the liquid to go down by, quite a bit. I'd say about 70% of it we want to cook down. We might actually have to turn it up a little bit after it sits for a while. We'll see you back here once that is happened. Take a look at the pot. You'll see that the liquid is really gone down by, quite a bit. We're about 70%, 75% down. So now what we're going to do is see how they're nice and plump. Now we are going to grab our veggie stock, shake it, crack it open. There was water in there. Dump that out. We want 2 cups of the veggie stock, which should be roughly about half of the box. Two cups. Dump that in. It's going to instantly stop boiling, of course, because this isn't hot. Now, what we are going to do is get yourself a little tasting cup, bowl. Put a splash in there. Do you like the flavor of it? Does it need something? I think it's weak, personally. So we're going to add one of these. I think you know that we got them, so we're going to use them. One of these. I don't know if you've used these before. Ta-da. And we're going to bring that back up to a higher temp. Now, don't want to be double dipping because this is going to be for multiple people. That's why you got your little bowl, and then if you have a little ladle like this, you can give yourself a couple of drops to taste it, so you're not continuously dirtying spoons and spoons and spoons. Okay. Now you can take a peek in here and see this will make enough for probably about 4 people. If you want to have leftovers at all, double it because this gravy usually disappears pretty quick. While that is doing its thing, I'm going to set my spatula down. I'm going to set my tasting bowl aside. Put the lid on. Grab a clean bowl. And we're going to bust into the coconut milk. What is this? So this is how you're supposed to open the can. Wait. Oh, we got it. No. Yeah, we got it. Come on now. We're going to be making something a little weird right now. Some people call it oobleck. Some people call it this can opener. Come on. For the love of Pete. You have to put so much downward pressure on it, you're scared to twist it. Okay. It worked. Now, all we want right now is the fat. I know, you wouldn't think so. But yeah, all we want is the fat. Like, I thought vegan was supposed to be healthier. Well, sure. So we're going to take all the fat out of this. Okay. We might use the liquid. I mean, we're going to use some of it, but right now we just want that right there. Okay. We're going to set this aside and see how mushy this is. If it's really dense, we're definitely going to have to add some liquid or we will not be able to get the cornstarch to get into it. It's a little chunky. We're definitely getting to guacamole consistency, but that's why it's really nice to be able to buy the small jars or cans of just coconut fat. We did not have that at the store today, so I couldn't get it, but we're getting the same result here. Okay. Got some on my finger. We're going to be doing 2 methods because we want this to be really thick. Some people like runny gravy. We're just about there. A little bit of cornstarch and this and you'd be fine. We're going to do 2 methods. We're going to do the cornstarch method, see if that gets us to where we want it to be. Most likely it will, but then we're also going to do the flour method afterwards in case you wanted it even thicker. Tablespoon, coconut fat, cornstarch. Sprinkle it in. Now here's where people end up with lumpy gravy. Nobody wants that. You have to be very careful and mix this smooth. When they just dump it in directly, that's where you get your lumpy gravy from. This is going to have lumps anyway unless we take the immersion to it because we have the mushrooms in there. This is on a nice low simmer. We have the 1 tablespoon of cornstarch mixed in. What we're going to do now is we are going to put this in to the, careful, you don't want it to plop down. That will splash up and get you. Now we have to be careful because like I said, this could give you chunky gravy. It shouldn't, it's pretty warm. Okay. Now we want to try to get as much of that coconut and cornstarch. as we can. So take a little bit of the hot liquid, get it in the bowl. That loosened it up nicely. Okay. Now, turn the heat up a little. Don't melt the camera. And you can see those yellow traces. That's the turmeric from the bouillon cube. This is still looking a little thin. We'll see if it does thicken up. Otherwise, we are going to have to add some more cornstarch. But now, take your tasting bowl. You can see, is it sticking to the back of the spoon yet? I mean, it's putting a nice coating on there. Some people would call that gravy. They're from the South, but I'd put it on par with Country Kitchen's chicken fried steak gravy. It tastes excellent. Now that we're getting a little bit of a boil, let's see if it's going to thicken up more. And if not, all we're going to do is do another tablespoon of cornstarch and coconut milk, or we could do the other method, which is to do the coconut milk with some flour. The thing is, you have to cook it off, or you will get a flour taste to it. The gravy we actually just shut off. It's almost perfection. Hazelnut and cranberry en croute. It is a faux beefy roll, but we're not there quite yet. We got to cut up some veggies that are going to go in this pan right here, because we're not just making the product that we can get upstairs. We are also making it a centerpiece. So we're going to want to have a little bit of show. We're going to need a leek. And what I like to do is I like to cut until I see dirt. Good. And we stop there. This can go. That was washed, but anyone who's worked with leeks knows you don't get all of it. So you want some discs. Try to keep them 1/8 to 1/4 inch. Quarter's a little thick, but you want them to hold together somewhat. You don't need just shreds floating around. Okay. Set those in our pan. Now, let's do the onion. Here's what I like about this recipe is we don't have to get all fancy with the onion. We need it to be, again, pretty uniform, but it can be pretty chunky too. This is going to be in the oven roasting with the centerpiece. And it's going to be a nice flavorful collection of vegetables. In this is going to be leek, onion. Look at, we're just going to go boom, boom. Hey, you tried to escape. See, that would have been dangerous. You don't want to do that. Set them back up so they lay flat. Ta-da. Put that in there. Put that in there. These have all been washed, but the carrots have not been peeled yet. So we're just going to quick peel those up. You can scrub them. I like peeling them. I like the bright orange color. I think it adds a little something something. What's your favorite holiday dish? Mine, I'm pretty partial to the gravy and baked beans, German potato salad. One of my personal favorites, and I know it's not vegan, is anything with bacon and vinegar. Ooh! We're doing 3 carrots. Is this, again, this doesn't have to be exact. We're not baking here. This is a sharp peeler. But I think you're really going to enjoy how this looks when it's done, and you can't taste it, but you're going to enjoy how it tastes too. These, going to do about the same. We need these to cook. Ooh. Could you have used baby carrots? Yes. Yes, you could have. Did we do that? No. We got a round thing going on here. As well as this, you'll see we'll have Brussels sprouts joining the party and a delicata squash. Okay. Let's jump right over to the delicata. We have the carrots, onion, and leek. We're going to go for the delicata. This has been scrubbed all the way around, low brush, hot water, cool water. Flat spot. Flat spot. So I can do that. Why? Otherwise I have this sharp knife and I'm fumbling around and I'm going to lose a finger. Flat spot, find a nice place where you can set it. Stick it all the way through. I believe that's a boom shakalaka. We need something to scoop that out, and it seems that all of the silverware is missing from this classroom. But we'll get some new stuff, or we'll find it. We'll see who took it. So you're going to scrape the seeds out. This is just like any other squash, except what's weird, strange, however you want to say it, we're going to leave the skin on. So try to get as much of that, see the stringy part, that stringy bit, get that out of there. Set that down, grab the other one. You can struggle with it like that, or you can grab the spoon like this, just hack it out. Whatever works best for you, don't be afraid to come up with a new way to do it. Okay, we don't want the seeds. What don't we work with? Stems and seeds. Now, we're going to cut crescents with the skin on. So, roughly, think about your carrot. Okay, doesn't have to be exact, but that gives you a nice idea of what we're doing. Okay. Don't worry, we're going to mix those all up. It sounds like I'm putting some force in on this. I am. I mean, it's a squash. Right? Right. Apple. Do you have to do the apple? No, but it goes so good with the hazelnut and cranberry. Are you good at peeling apples? No. Brussels sprouts. Got the veggies all chopped up. As you can see, they're in here. We're gonna spread them out just a little. Grab the olive oil. Put a nice 3 to 4 tablespoons of olive oil on there. Black pepper. Now here's where you can get creative if you want. If you want to add a little bit of paprika, cumin, curry. These are your vegetables to do with as you please. And a nice little scoop of garlic. your hands, get in there. Try to get it on all of them. Try to spread the veggies out as much as you can. All right, looks like they're all coated nicely. Lose the gloves. That's where it's gonna get a little weird. We're gonna put a nice coating of veggie broth on the bottom. Set that aside because it's gonna be going into the oven shortly. We are now moving on to the centerpiece. Pan. Oven preheated to 400. Now, you don't have to do any of the stuff that we did. You can do that. Done. Do take it out of the plastic, please. But you can do just this if you want. Be very careful opening it. Try to slide down the side. There you go. You don't want to cut into it. It does have a dough. Now this isn't in the instructions, but we are going to do it. And that is, I'm going to grab a small piece of parchment paper. We're going to grab a nice small piece of parchment paper. Give it a little bit of a fold. Pick it up. And roll it out onto that. That's just going to make it easier for us later. This thing is dense. Okay. Now, oven on at 400. I pepper everything. You don't have to pepper everything. And that is a puff pastry. So you know what I really want to do? Is I want to put an egg wash on it. Now, can't do that. It wouldn't be vegan. But what you can do, cover it with a bread pan. That goes there, just until we get to the oven. Come on around. All right. Try to set it in the center of the oven the best you can. This goes in the oven for 45 minutes, and then we're gonna, at 45-minute point, we're gonna take the pan off and let it sit for another 15, and then she's ready to go. We'll see you in 45 minutes. We are at the 45-minute point. So we have to take the lid off of this and see where, ooh, look at that browning up nicely. It also swelled quite a bit. The temperature we're shooting for is 165 internal. Put that back in. Check our veggies. They look like they're doing just fine. 15 minutes. It looks like we are done. We are going to get these out, get them set up to rest, and then we'll cut them for serving. Croute is done. Look at it. Very nice. We're just about to cut into it, the puff pastry. Did get a little burnt because the pan was too short. Other than that, looks wonderful. Here we have the vegetables, which are going to be plated shortly, and the gravy. We decided to leave the gravy just as it is. It turned out perfect. Nice and thick. We're going to get this all sliced and plated, and we will meet you at the dinner table. There you are, ladies and gentlemen. Vegan holiday dinner. We'll bring it over to the table. Let's lose that rogue sage. Voila. Order up. This served with some vegan mashed potatoes. You have the gravy, everything